Christmas. It's time for our next story. This time it is the sequel, which means the book after the first one, How the Grinch Lost Christmas. So instead of how the Grinch stole Christmas, it is how he lost it. Up high on Mount Crumpet, just north of the Who's, a Who just delivered the day's Whoville news. He's delivering the newspaper. The cave on Mount Crumpet was home to the Grinch, who sprung from his cave just enough, plus 1 inch, to stare down at Whoville from high up above it. Tomorrow was Christmas, and speaking there of it, "My heart," grinned the Grinch, "has grown to quite love it." The Grinch had been patiently waiting all year to celebrate Christmas and bring the Who's cheer, and to show every Who he was different now. "I've changed," thought the Grinch, "and I'll prove it. But how?" So he doesn't hate Christmas anymore. He loves it, but he needs to make sure that the Who's understand that he does. While eating his breakfast of Who hash on rye, the newspaper there in the chair caught his eye. "A contest in Whoville tomorrow at 3? To see who can make the most Christmassy tree." Then he got an idea, a crafty idea. The Grinch got an awfully crafty idea. Oh, I think he is going to work on something. He laughed in his throat. "I know just what to do." Then the Grinch grabbed a pencil and drew. Ooh, look at all of the pictures of Christmas trees he's drawing. With a plan in his hand, the Grinch hiked to Whowood, where he found the most Christmassy tree that he could. And he chopped at the tree with his tree-chopping axe till the tree he was chopping fell down next to Max. Ooh, look, I think it startled Max a little bit. Then they hiked their way home with the tree on their backs. Whoa, what a big tree for those two to have to carry, huh? "Our cellar has all of the things we will use to start decorating our tree for the Who's. Grab ribbons," he shouted. "Grab bunches of bows. Grab plenty of these and a big pile of those. Bring everything reddish and everything greenish and everything last colorful thing in betweenish." Whoa, look at all those decorations. "A win, 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 win," he was Grinchiously humming. Then all of a sudden he heard someone coming. "Now, who could that be?" the Grinch said with a sneer. He turned around fast, and then who should appear? Right there in the hallway stood Cindy Lou Who, the sweetest of all of the Who's that he knew. "Hello," she exclaimed. "I have something to ask you." "I do hope it isn't a bothersome task." "I've come here to ask a small favor of you, and if you have time and could make one for me." The Grinch interrupted her tiny request. "My dear," he replied, "it would really be best to ask me tomorrow on Christmas, you see. Right now I must finish my prize-winning tree." So Cindy Lou Who wanted him to help her. "Perhaps I can help you," sweet Cindy Lou said. But the Grinch simply patted the Who on her head. Then he shooed her outside and replied, "Don't be silly. Do run along home now, before it gets chilly." Throughout the whole day and late into the night, he worked on that tree till the tree was just right. "I've done it!" he shouted. "It's perfectly grand! I hope that it shows every Who in the land what a wonderful Christmassy spirit I've found. I know in my heart that I'm sure to be crowned." He is so happy with himself for decorating that tree, and he wants to show the Who's that he loves Christmas now. At 1/4 past dawn, with the sun rising fast, the Whos were awake. It was Christmas at last. The bells around Whoville were ringing and dinging. The Whos down in Whoville were merrily singing. The Grinch ran outside and cried, "Christmas is here!" At the sound of that ringing and singing, a long cheer. And when the time came for the Grinch to depart, he loaded the sleigh and took off like a dart, sledding down, 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 down to the Whoville town square. So he's taking his tree down to Whoville. "Contestants!" the Grinch heard the mayor declare, "It's time for the judges to judge all your trees. The rest of you Whos have a seat, if you please." Then the trees were lined up from the tallest to smallest. The Grinch's tall tree was the tallest of allest. And down at the end, to the far, far, far right, was Cindy Lou Who's, which was much smaller height. So there's the Grinch's, and then they all get smaller, and then look right here, Cindy Lou Who's tiny little tree. When the mayor announced who had taken 3rd place, the Grinch felt his Christmas-filled heart start to race. "And now," the mayor said, "without further ado, the lucky contestant who placed number 2 lives high on Mount Crumpet. We're thrilled that he's here. The Grinch wins the 2nd place trophy this year." The Grinch felt a shock as his heart turned ice cold. He felt it start shrinking, and so it is told that there, in the square, all the Whos who were near it are certain they saw it, and sure they could hear it. So because the Grinch didn't win 1st place with his tree, he was sad and disappointed, and his heart started to shrink back to small. The moment the Grinch lost his Christmassy spirit, his arms started itching, his legs started twitching, then both of his eyes started twitching and itching, and that Christmas-filled heart, well, it shrank down. "I've been robbed," the Grinch snarled, "and I'm through with this town." The Grinch stuffed his tree in his ramshackle sleigh, and then he slugged it and tugged it and hauled it away. And Max tried his hardest to get him to stay. The Whos were all speechless, unsure what to say. Oh, he was mad because he didn't win, and so he's taking his tree and going home. The Grinch climbed and climbed as his heart grew more frozen. Ooh, look how mad he is. While back at the contest, a winner was chosen. "Today, on the merriest day in the land," the mayor declared with his Who horn in hand, "I give you our winner. She's not more than 3. It's Cindy Lou Who has made the best tree." The Who girl had asked every Who there that day to make her an ornament she could display. To celebrate Whoville and everyone in it, she entered the contest, not thinking she'd win it. So Cindy Lou Who won. She went around and asked everybody in the village to make a ornament that she could hang on her tree. Betcha that's what she was going to ask the Grinch to do, huh? The Grinch heard the mayor from high on the peak. Then Cindy Lou Who grabbed the Who horn to speak. "I wanted to make all of Whoville a tree, with ornaments each of you Whos made for me. But there it is, one ornament missing, you see." The whole town of Whoville was there on each limb, except for the Grinch. So she called out to him, "Now please, Mr. Grinch, I saved you a spot. You're someone we Whos like an awfully lot. This tree is for Whoville. You're part of it too. I hope you can hear me," said Cindy Lou Who. Oh, so she is now calling to the Grinch to ask if he could make an ornament. Cindy Lou's voice stopped the Grinch in his tracks. He looked down at Whoville, then looked down at Max. I thought, the Grinch puzzled, a prize-winning tree would prove to the Whos that what today means to me, and show them for certain I truly belong. But perhaps I was wrong, and belonged all along, and maybe, just maybe, we all win instead by being together at Christmas, he said. And there on Mount Crumpet, if you had to be near it, you would have been able to see it and hear it. The moment his heart grew a few sizes more, to more than his heart had grown even before. So he realized that just spending time together is good for Christmas too, not necessarily winning a contest. And his heart even grew bigger this time than it did the last time. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch and his dog whizzed back down on that sleigh, and the Grinch placed his ornament on the small tree, and he lifted it high so the whole town could see. The Whos all hoorayed, and they jumped to their feet as the Grinch grinned and said, "Now our tree is complete." Then the mayor declared, "We have one thing to do to make it official for Cindy Lou Who. Would you do the honors?" He pointed and said. And the Grinch, what's going to happen? He himself placed the crown on her head. So he lost Christmas for only a little bit, but then Cindy Lou Who helped him find it again. And he crowned her with the winning crown. See, so Christmas is more than about presents and contests. Christmas is about spending time together and enjoying each other and just sharing love. I love you so much. Mwah.